Peter, you told us about the innovation process in GlaxoSmithKline. Now, if you translate that to tips for the startup that is considering the options, what would you suggest?
Yeah, I think it's important that some company like GSK is one of the top 10 R&D spenders in the world, and therefore the bandwidth to innovation, the commitment to innovation, is not typical for Irish SMEs. But I've done a lot of work recently with SMEs. The first thing that I've been doing is to say, to make the SMEs sit down and develop an explicit, specific innovation strategy. So most companies, if you talk about the Irish SME environment, have a kind of a lead entrepreneur at the head, and there's a sort of a yo-yo effect with innovation where at certain times it's very important and at other times it isn't. And this can be very frustrating for the people who work in the SME. So what I've done with a number of them is to say, why don't we just agree that to some statement that makes it definitive, that other people can navigate by and can inspire people who work in the organisation to embark on this innovation adventure. And those sort of statements would generally say, this company, whatever the company would be, to this set of either consumers or B2B customers, but some specific set, we will be and it might be the first, the best, the only, the biggest, the most professional, the most knowledgeable, the favoured, the number one, for these reasons. And these reasons might be the capability of the company, because we have this machine, or because we've been in the business for 40 years, or because we know more about this than anyone else. And then generally the payoff will be with the result that we will be the number one supplier, we'll be the first, the best, the only, etc. When companies start with, then you have a statement, you have something that's agreed by a team inside a company. And then the next thing they generally do is decide, well, if this is, our statement of we're open for business for innovation, these are the kind of ideas we're looking for, then they generally get down to the next level of saying, what would be the hallmarks of an idea that will fly, will hit all the buttons in this sort of a strategic statement. And companies make quite a structured profile of the right idea. Will be in an attractive market, it will have some advantage product or service to what's currently available, it will strategically fit with the company's objectives, and it will have a reasonable risk-reward ratio, so that if innovation, companies that have an appetite for innovation have to have an appetite for some level of failure, or have to get over their fear of failure. So in these sort of ideas, obviously a company would have to reject an idea if the failure of that idea pulled down the whole organisation with it. So companies set up a high-level statement, then an idea screener underneath that, and then what I've been doing with SMEs is getting them to set up an innovation competition within their company and flush up ideas, and then use a team to evaluate those ideas based against this sort of new screener. So then they're kind of in business, they develop a portfolio of ideas from a standing start and start to evaluate them and leverage the talent of their own organisation.